In a corner forgotten by time, where shadows danced to the whisper of the wind, an old plantation hid the echoes of a dark and painful past. The place, marked by a dense and oppressive atmosphere, was a reliquary of secrets and memories of a time where cruelty and injustice were the norm. The group of paranormal investigators, led by the fearless Mariana, crossed the corroded gates of the property as the sun said goodbye, bathing the sky in tones of fire and blood. They were the hope that the silenced voices of that place would finally be heard. The plantation, with its decaying grand house and vast fields, was a monument to human suffering. The winds carried whispers of laments and songs of hope, and the land, marked by blood and tears, bloomed in a painful silence. The group, composed of Mariana, Lucas, Julia, and Gabriel, aimed to reveal the hidden truths of the plantation, exposing the atrocities committed and honoring the memories of the victims. Each member brought their unique skills and perspectives, forming a harmonious set of courage and determination. The group delved into the property, discovering every nook and cranny of the big house and the fields. Lucas, with his analytical and skeptical mind, meticulously adjusted his equipment, ignoring the shadows that seemed to murmur words of pain and regret. Julia, the medium, felt the air saturated with unresolved emotions and eternal anguish, and Gabriel, the historian, searched for fragments of the past that nature tried to reclaim, his eyes shining with the promise of unexplored discoveries. The big house, a reliquary of decay and desolation, revealed through moldy documents and forgotten objects the history of brutality and suffering of the slaves who were subjugated there. Each room whispered secrets. Each object told a story of pain and despair. Julia, increasingly disturbed, heard the laments of the souls who still cried out for justice, while an oppressive atmosphere enveloped the group, making each step a journey of painful discovery. Among the documents, Gabriel discovered letters and diaries that narrated the daily life of the plantation, revealing the indifference and cruelty of the masters and the silent resistance of the slaves. Each word resonated like an echo from the past, bringing to light the voices of those forced into silence. As they explored, the group felt the weight of the history of that place. The fields, where cotton flourished under the burning sun, were marked by the tears and sweat of those who were torn from their lands and forced into a life of servitude. The wind carried the whispers of slaves, their songs of hope and freedom, intertwining with the cries of lost souls. The atmosphere of the plantation was permeated by a palpable sadness, a melancholy that entered the soul, making every breath feel like a burden. The spirits that resided there were like shadows from the past, their presence a constant reminder of the injustice and suffering that marked that place. Under the full moon, the spirits of the slaves manifested themselves, their ethereal, suffering forms crying out for revenge and redemption. They were the embodiment of pain accumulated over the centuries, their voices a chorus of lament and anger. Mariana, with a trembling voice, tried to appease the tormented souls, promising to reveal to the world the atrocities committed in that cursed place. The group, united by the desire to expose the truth, faced increasingly intense and terrifying demonstrations. The spirits, in their eternal pain, revealed their stories of life and death, their existences marked by injustice and cruelty. The group, with heavy hearts, promised to honor their memories, their souls touched by the magnitude of suffering that place hid. But at dawn, an unexpected tragedy befell them. The group, marked by the night of terror, found themselves imprisoned on the plantation, their souls condemned to wander along with the spirits of the slaves, in a limbo of suffering and despair. Mariana, the fearless leader, felt a sharp, incessant pain, as if 1,000 needles were piercing her heart. Her eyes, once full of determination, now reflected the despair of the souls around her. She tried in vain to reach her companions, but her hands passed through them as if they were shadows. Lucas, the rational one, was paralyzed, his eyes fixed on the horizon, where the sun was rising, indifferent to his suffering. His mind, once logical and analytical, was now fragmented, echoing the screams and whispers of the spirits that haunted him. Julia, the sensitive medium, was submerged in a sea of unresolved emotions, the voices of lost souls resounding in her mind like a chorus of lament and anger. Her body, once a receptacle of subtle energies, was now a beacon for the entities that roamed the plantation, attracting them like moths to a flame. Gabriel, the historian, wandered the fields, his disorderly steps marking the land that held so many stories of pain. His gaze, previously curious and inquisitive, was now lost, seeking answers in a past that was intertwined with the present, condemning him to relive the horrors of the plantation. The plantation, now a purgatory of tormented souls, became a place where time had no meaning, where past and present merged into an endless cycle of suffering. The investigators, their souls imprisoned, wandered the fields and the big house, reliving the moments of terror and despair, unable to find peace or redemption. And so, the curse of the forgotten plantation gained new inhabitants, their souls doomed to echo the laments and pleas of those who suffered there. The wind carried its whispers beyond the property lines, a constant reminder of human cruelty and the price of truth. The land, marked by the blood and tears of countless lives, continued to flourish, a silent monument to the pain and hope of those who sought justice, even beyond death. And the sun, indifferent to human suffering, continued its eternal cycle, illuminating a place where light seemed unable to dispel the shadows of the past, where the curse of the forgotten plantation perpetuated, a dark enigma and a painful memory of human iniquity. And so, the plantation, once the scene of suffering and despair, became a dark sanctuary for the souls who remained there, a place where the winds whispered stories of pain and the fields were irrigated by the tears of the forgotten. The investigators, now prisoners of this realm of shadows, have become unwilling guardians of the secrets and memories of that cursed place, their souls intertwined with those who suffered there in an eternal dance of lament and remorse. The truth about the atrocities committed on the forgotten plantation remained hidden, the victims' voices silenced by the curse that enveloped the place. The world continued its inexorable march, oblivious to the purgatory of souls crying out for justice and redemption. And the plantation, with its silent fields and decaying big house, stood as a monument to human iniquity, a grim reminder that sometimes truth is more terrifying than fiction, and that the shadows of the past can lie silently long and relentless about the present.